Hello, everyone. Um, Virgo, oh, oh, this energy. I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now and be completely present with me because what I'm feeling around you today, what I'm picking up in your energy specifically, not generally, not vaguely, but specifically, it stopped me in my tracks. And I don't say that for effect. I say it because the moment I tuned into your energy for this reading, two things hit me immediately, so clearly and so strongly that I almost had to sit down. Money, a significant amount of it, moving towards you, and someone specific. Someone who has been distant, cold, absent, treating you like you were optional, suddenly turning around, suddenly seeing you, suddenly realizing what they have been ignoring and deciding they are no longer willing to ignore it. Both of these things at the same time in the same window of your life. And before you let that voice in your head say, that sounds too good to be true, I need you to stay with me, because that voice, that immediate reflex of doubt, that instinct to protect yourself from hoping too much, I feel that in you too. And I understand exactly where it comes from. I understand the history behind it, the times you hoped and it didn't happen, the times you were almost there and something fell through, the times you told yourself things were shifting and then they didn't shift fast enough and the disappointment was almost worse than not hoping at all. I feel all of that. And I'm telling you anyway, because what I'm sensing right now is not the fragile, maybe, possibly, if everything goes right kind of energy. This is the kind that arrives with weight, with certainty, with that particular quality of something that has already been decided on levels you can't fully see yet, but that are absolutely real. So stay with me. Every single word of this is for you. Let me start with the money because I feel it needs to be addressed first, directly, honestly, without dressing it up or making it vague. What I'm sensing is not a small trickle of improvement in your finances. It is not a slight uptick, a minor relief, a temporary patch on something that's been leaking for too long. What I feel is a significant movement, a sum, something that when it arrives will feel disproportionate to whatever small action or conversation or decision triggered it, because that's how energy works when it's been compressed for a long time. When it finally moves, it moves with everything it's been holding. And your financial energy has been compressed. I feel that clearly. For some of you, it's been months of tightness, of counting, of making things stretch further than they should have to stretch, of watching opportunities that seemed promising dissolve before they materialized. For others, it's been years, a long, grinding season of financial struggle that has quietly eroded not just your bank account, but your belief that abundance is actually available to you personally, not just to other people, to you. That belief or the loss of it is what I want to address first. Because the money that's coming, and it is coming, will only fully land in the hands of someone who believes they can hold it. And I feel that somewhere along this difficult financial season, you started to internalize the struggle, started to mistake the circumstance for the truth, started to think maybe this is just how it is for me. Maybe I'm not someone who gets to experience real financial ease. Maybe abundance is for other kinds of people living other kinds of lives. That is not your truth. That is the scar tissue of a difficult season speaking. And it's time to stop mistaking the scar for the skin. Because here is what's actually true about you and money right now. The energy is shifting. Something, and let me see if I can get specific about something you've done, or something you've been building quietly in the background is about to pay off in a way that is real and tangible and significant. For some of you, this is something directly financial, an opportunity, an offer, a deal, a sum arriving from a direction you've been watching but weren't sure would actually deliver. For others, it's something that converts an idea, a skill, a project, a conversation that turns into money in a way that feels almost sudden, even though you've been laying the groundwork for it longer than you realize. And for some of you, and I want to name this specifically because I feel it strongly, the money is coming from a source you had almost written off, something you had decided wasn't going to come through, something you'd mentally filed under that's not happening. A refund, a settlement, a return on something you invested, a payment that was owed and overdue, an opportunity you'd applied for or pursued and then stopped expecting to hear back from. Hear me. That thing you wrote off, don't write it off yet. Because the energy I'm feeling around your finances right now is specifically the energy of arrival, of something that was delayed but not denied, of something that was held up in the pipeline of timing and is now finally moving through. And when it lands, and I feel this is soon, not eventually, not someday, soon, it is going to feel like exhaling after holding your breath for so long you forgot what breathing freely felt like. Let me sit with this financial energy for one more moment because there's something else here I need to say. Once this money arrives, and I want you to hear this part as carefully as you heard the first part, the way you receive it matters. The way you hold it, the story you tell yourself about it in the first hours and days after it lands. Because money is energy, and energy responds to how we treat it. If it arrives and your first instinct is to immediately worry about it disappearing, to immediately feel like it's not enough, to immediately contract around it rather than expanding into it, you will create exactly that experience, the contraction, the not enoughness, the disappearing. But if you can receive it with genuine gratitude, not performed gratitude, not forced positivity, but real, quiet, this is what I deserve gratitude. And if you can hold it with the confidence of someone who knows that this is not a one-time accident, but the beginning of a new financial chapter, then you create the conditions for it to grow, for more to follow, for this moment to be not just a relief, but a foundation. Because that's what I feel this is. Not a rescue, a foundation. Okay, now let's talk about this person. Because I feel you've been waiting for me to get here. And I feel the weight of this part of the reading in a very specific way, not just in your hope, but in your hurt. Because whoever this person is, the dynamic with them has not been painless. There has been real pain here, real confusion, real moments of asking yourself, why? Why am I not enough? Why do they look through me? Why does it feel like I'm reaching towards someone who is consistently, deliberately, almost expertly keeping just enough distance to keep me uncertain? I feel all of that, and I don't want to skip past it to get to the good news, because the good news lands differently when the pain that preceded it has been acknowledged. So let me acknowledge it. You have been showing up fully, consistently, genuinely for someone who has not been fully showing up for you. And that mismatch between how present you've been and how absent they've been has done something to you, not just to your feelings about them, but to your feelings about yourself. Because when someone consistently treats you as optional, as background, as someone they can engage with when it's convenient and ignore when it's not, eventually, no matter how grounded you are, some part of you starts to ask, is it me? Am I not enough? Do I not matter enough to be chosen consistently? I need you to hear this next part clearly. The answer to those questions is no. It is not you. You are enough. You do matter. The issue has never been your worth. The issue has been their availability, emotional, energetic, spiritual, their capacity to show up for something real, their own unresolved internal landscape that made consistent presence feel either threatening or simply beyond what they knew how to give. That is their work, not yours. But here's where this gets interesting. Here's where the energy shifts in a way I genuinely did not see coming when I first tuned in, and I want to describe it as accurately as I can because it's specific. Something has changed in this person. Something has shifted in their awareness, not dramatically, not overnight, but in that deep, slow way that real internal shifts happen. Something made them stop. Something made them look. Something interrupted whatever pattern they were in and forced them into a moment of clarity about what they've been doing, about what they've been ignoring, about what they stand to lose if they continue operating the way they have been. And in that moment of clarity, and I feel this, I feel it genuinely, you appeared, not as a passing thought, as a significant one, as something that wouldn't let itself be minimized or explained away or filed back into the comfortable category of not important enough to address right now. You showed up in their awareness with a weight you haven't had there before. Let me see if I can get more specific about what triggered this because I feel there's something here. I'm sensing that something changed in your energy recently, something you did or didn't do, a moment where you stopped reaching, where you pulled back maybe consciously, maybe simply out of exhaustion, and in that pulling back, in that natural withdrawal of your constant effort toward them, they felt it. Not because you planned it, but because absence has a texture. And your specific absence, the absence of someone who has been consistently, genuinely, warmly present, has a very particular texture that is difficult to ignore once you're paying attention. And they are paying attention now. For some of you, this is going to look like a message, direct, unexpected, maybe slightly uncertain in its tone, as if they're aware that they don't entirely deserve to be reaching out but are doing it anyway because something in them overrode the hesitation. For others, it's going to look like a change in behavior, suddenly being more present, more engaged, more visible in your life in ways that feel deliberate, even if they're not announced as such. And for others, still, it's going to be something even more significant, a conversation, a declaration, a moment where something that has been unspoken between you finally gets spoken, and the clarity of it changes everything. Hold on, I'm picking up something specific here, and I want to make sure I say it right. I feel that this person's return or this person's shift toward you is going to surprise you in its sincerity. because I sense you've been bracing if they ever do come back or show up, they'll do it halfway. They'll do it in that infuriating way where it's just enough to reopen things, but not enough to actually resolve them. Just enough to pull you back in, but not enough to actually commit. And I'm not going to tell you that concern is unfounded. It's based on real history with this person. It's earned skepticism. But what I feel in this specific moment, in this specific shift that's happening in their energy, it's different from the pattern. There's a quality of genuine reckoning in what I'm sensing, not performance, not manipulation, dressed as sincerity, an actual internal reckoning with what they've been doing and what they actually want. Now, here is where I need to say something that might be the most important thing in this entire reading. And I need you to hear it not as a warning, but as an empowerment. When this person comes back toward you, and I feel that they will, you do not have to receive them on the same terms you did before. You do not have to open the door all the way immediately just because they knocked. You do not have to collapse the healthy distance you finally created just because their attention feels like relief after so long without it. Because here's the truth. The attention, the recognition, the turning toward you that this person is about to offer it is going to feel incredible. After everything you've been through with this dynamic, being seen by them, being chosen by them, is going to feel like something you've wanted for so long that you'll be tempted to grab it completely without stopping to assess whether the conditions have actually changed or whether it's the same dynamic with a new coat of paint. Don't grab, receive. There's a difference. Grabbing is desperate. Grabbing is the old you, the one who was operating from scarcity, from fear of losing something that was never fully yours to begin with. Receiving is grounded. Receiving is the new you, the one who knows their worth, who understands that attention given is not the same as love sustained, who can welcome someone back with warmth and without surrendering the self-respect that you rebuilt during the time they were absent. Let them prove the change, not with words, with consistency, with presence over time, with showing up in the ordinary moments, not just the emotionally heightened ones. The version of this connection that's actually worth having is the one where they come correct, where they understand what they almost lost and treat that knowledge with the weight it deserves. Anything less than that is just a repeat of the pattern. And you, the version of you that exists right now, that has done the work and grown through the silence and rebuilt something solid in yourself during the time they were gone, you are not available for a repeat of the pattern. Know that. Hold it. Because the moment they re-enter your orbit, the old feelings are going to rush back fast and they're going to feel like truth. And some of them will be truth. But feelings are not instructions, especially feelings for someone whose behavior has not yet demonstrated that the shift is real. Watch the behavior. Let that be your guide. Now I want to talk about something that I feel is connecting these two things, the money and this person, in a way that isn't coincidence. Because I don't think they're arriving in the same window by accident. I think they're connected by something deeper, and that something is your energy. What I feel has been happening in you quietly, mostly invisibly, sometimes painfully, is a recalibration, a return to yourself, a process, not always comfortable, of shedding things that weren't actually yours, beliefs about what you deserve, patterns of reaching toward what withholds, habits of making yourself smaller to fit spaces that were never really big enough for you anyway. And that recalibration, that return to your actual self, your actual worth, your actual energetic frequency is what's drawing both of these things in simultaneously. Because when your energy shifts, everything that's in resonance with the new frequency starts moving towards you. And what no longer resonates starts to either transform or fall away. The money is responding to your shift, your expanded sense of what you're worth, what you're capable of, what you deserve to receive. That's pulling financial energy toward you in a way that wasn't accessible before. And this person is responding to your shift. The version of you that stopped overreaching, that pulled back into your own gravity, that became more fully yourself, that version of you is more magnetic than the version that was constantly extending toward them. You didn't plan this, you couldn't have planned this, but it happened and it's working. Let me talk about what I need you to actually do right now, because I refuse to leave you with just the beautiful picture without the grounded, practical part, because preparation isn't passive. Preparation is something you do actively with your energy, your mindset, your daily choices. The first thing is to stop minimizing yourself in financial conversations. Stop underselling what you're worth in your work. Stop accepting rates, salaries, fees that are below what you know you deserve because you're afraid that asking for more will make the opportunity disappear. The energy of what's coming financially requires you to already be positioned at the level where it can find you. If you're operating at the level of barely enough, the large sum will have to work very hard to reach you. But if you start acting right now, today, as if you already know what you're worth, you make it easy. The second thing is this: stop rehearsing the disappointment with this person. Stop running the mental simulation where they show up and then pull back again. Stop preparing your emotional exit strategy before they've even arrived. Because whatever you rehearse internally becomes the energetic expectation you project outward, and people feel that expectation even when they can't name it. If you meet their shift with a wall of already prepared for the worst, you create the conditions for the worst. If you meet it with grounded, watchful openness, the kind that says, I see you, I'm not closed, and I'm also not naive, you create the conditions for something actually different. The third thing, and this is the one that ties everything together, stay in your own energy. This is the most important instruction and also the most difficult one, because when big things are approaching, the temptation is to reach toward them, to try to accelerate them, to do something to make them happen faster. Resist that. The version of you that's centered, grounded, focused on your own life, your own growth, your own daily experience, that version is the one the universe is responding to. The moment you start reaching and grasping and trying to pull what's coming toward you faster than it's ready to arrive, you step out of the frequency that attracted it in the first place. Stay in your own energy, trust the timing, let what's coming come. Because it is coming. I feel that with more certainty than I feel almost anything else in this reading. The money is moving. The attention is turning. The window you are in right now, this specific season of your life, is the window where these things arrive. Not eventually, not if you do everything perfectly. Now, in this season. Because the conditions are right, your energy is right, and the universe has decided it's time. I want to leave you with an image, because I think images land in places that words sometimes can't reach. Imagine yourself standing completely still, not frozen still, the way someone stands who is absolutely certain of where they are, grounded, present, taking up exactly the space they deserve to take up without apology and without inflation. Just real, just fully, quietly, powerfully themselves. And from that place of stillness, watch things start to move toward you. Resources, recognition, the specific person whose attention you've been waiting for. Moving toward you not because you chased them, not because you performed for them, not because you made yourself into something you thought they needed you to be, but because the version of you that stands still in your own truth is the most magnetic thing you have ever been. That's what's happening. That's what all of this, the money, the person, the timing, the energy of this exact moment is pointing toward you, standing fully in yourself, receiving what's always been yours. It's happening. And you better be ready to receive every single bit of it. Drop a comment below and tell me which part of this hit you hardest, the money, the person, or something else entirely, because I read your comments, I see you, and this community is one where your story matters and your breakthrough is celebrated by every single person here. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today, someone who's been patient long enough, someone who's been through enough, someone who deserves to know that what they've been waiting for is finally, actually, on its way. It's yours. All of it. Go receive it.